Hi guys, today we're going to talk about finding slope from 2 points on a line. And slope is just a ratio that compares rise to run. Okay, so we're going to see how slanted the line is. And to do that, we want to find out how much it goes up and down. That's my rise. And my run is how much it goes left to right. So let's take a look at the 2 points. We can pick any 2 points on a line. You're always going to get the same slope. So we're going to do two different ones here. So let's pick the points 2, 0, and I'm going to put them in a vertical XY table because I feel like that's the easiest way to find slope, because you can easily see the changes in your Y coordinate and the changes in your X coordinate. So I'll use 2, 0, and 6, 6. I like to stick with positive numbers because I feel like it makes the math easier. But any 2 points will work. So now we're going to look at the change. So what's happening with my X's? If you notice, the X's are increasing by 4, so I'm going to note that as a positive 4, and the Y's are increasing by 6. So I'm just going to make my ratio rise over run, and I'm going to input those numbers. So rise is up and down. That's your Y, what's happening with your Y's. And I like to say Y's rise as a reminder. So what's happening with my Y's is they're increasing by 6. And X's will be the runs because it's how you go left and right, and it's increasing by 4. And so your slope is 6 over 4. And I can simplify that by dividing each by 2, and I get 3 over 2. That's my slope, 3 over 2. So let's look at it with another set of points, okay? Whoops. Now let's look at it with, let's say we do 0, -3, and we'll do 6, 6. Okay, so we're just going to find, again, we're going to find the changes in X. It's increasing by 6, and we're going to find the changes in Y's, and it's increasing by 9. And we're going to use our rise over run ratio. We're always using rise over run to find slope. And so the rise is your Y's. Remember, rise Y's, that's your change in Y's. And here we're increasing by 9. So it's positive 9. And your run, we're increasing by 6. So your slope is 9 over 6, which could be simplified if you divide them each by 3. And you're going to get 3 over 2, which is what I got earlier. So no matter what, because slope measures the slant of a line, no matter what 2 points you take on that line, it's going to give you the same slope. I like to stick with positive points because I feel like it makes the math easier. So let's look at another line. Let's erase this here. We'll look at another line that looks like this. And I want you to notice, whoops, put that point on the wrong spot here. I want you to notice, yikes, that when you look at this line, like a book, you read it left to right. That's how we read books, left to right. And when you read it left to right, the line is going down. And if we put a vertical line on the end of the line, it will make the letter N. And that's because it's going to be a negative slope. So let's take a look why that is. So we're going to make our XY table. And I'm going to take any 2 points. So I'm going to take this point here, which is -2, +1. So I'm going to put that in my table, -2 and +1. And then I'll do this one, 0, -3. 0, -3. And let's take a look at how our X's and Y's are changing. Our X's, notice they're increasing. If you go from -2 to 0, that's an increase of 2. And your Y's, you notice you're going from +1 to -3. That means you're decreasing. So we're decreasing by 4. So we're going to do our ratio again. And remember, it's Y's rise. And so we're going to do rise over run. And our rise is -4. That's how my y's are changing. And if I look at my x, they're changing by 2, a positive 2, so that's my slope. Now, you can simplify these numbers. 4 over 2 is 2. And it's a negative divided by a positive. Pay special attention to that. A negative divided by a positive, that means my answer is going to be negative. The slope is negative 2. And you can see because I made these vertical lines, it makes the letter N. That's because my slope should be a negative number. Let's move on. Let's take a look at another example. In this example, the line's going to look like this. Say I have these points. And I'll write the points up top. It's -1, 2. It's +3, 2. And then we have +7, 2. Again, I can use any 2 points, but I like to use the positive numbers because I think it makes it more clear. So I'm going to use 3, 2 and 7, 2. And now we're going to look at the change, how the x's and y's are changing. Remember, it's y's rise, right? And the x change is your run. So let's take a look as the y's change. They're going from 2 to 2. Actually, there is no change there. The change is 0. And as the x's change, it's an increase of 4. So we're going to do our ratio, rise over run. And the rise is your y value, how your y's are changing. They're changing by 0. So I'm putting that in the numerator. And your x's are changing by +4. So it looks like this. 0 divided by 4. And 0 divided by any number is 0. The slope is 0. My slope equals 0. Okay? There's no slant to this line. If you look, there's no slant. If you think about it when you're skiing, right? There's no slope there. That would be the easiest slope to ski. Okay, we'll look at one more example. And this one might look like this. This line is a vertical line. And so we'll take the points. This is 2, 2. This one is 2, -1. And this one is 2, -4. And so if we make our table, and I'll just take 2 points. So I'm going to do 2, 2 and 2, -1. The closer the points are together, the less likelihood you're going to have to simplify. So I like to use the ones close together if possible. And let's look at how the x's are changing. Notice I'm going from 2 to 2. There is no change. There is a 0 change. On my y's, the y's are going from +2 to -1. That means they're going down. They're going down by 3. And again, y's rise. X is your run. And I'm going to make my ratio rise over run. And if I look at my rise is -3. It's how my y's are changing. And my run is 0. Now, when you have 0 in the denominator, anytime you have 0 in the denominator, you cannot divide by 0. So the answer to this would be undefined. This slope is undefined. And it will always be undefined on a vertical line. On a horizontal line, it's always going to be 0. And then on the others, you're just going to calculate the rise over the run and be paying attention to those positive and negative signs, because if the line's going up when you read it like a book, for example, oops, sorry about that. Yikes. There we go. So a line going up would have a positive slope. That's a positive slope. When you read it like a book, it's going up. A line going down. When you read it like a book, left to right, that's going to have a negative slope. A horizontal line will have a 0 slope, and a vertical line will have an undefined slope. And that's how you calculate slope from 2 points.